I was 16 when I saved my brother from getting hit by a car, flying 3 yards away. When I woke up, both my legs were gone. Overnight, I went from a talented dance prodigy to a cripple. After I lost my legs, Mom, desperate to continue her dance legacy, adopted another girl with talent. I wasn't about to be defeated by my disability. I threw myself into studying and turned out to have a serious business mind. Then a sudden fire took my looks and my hands. In the end, I died in a car accident so the fake daughter could get a kidney. Before I went, I heard my brother and the fake daughter whispering, "Finally, she's gone. Nothing can stop us now." I learned the truth after I died. My brother was an imposter, a cuckoo in the nest, and the fake daughter was his real sister. They climbed over my dead body, inherited my family's fortune, and lived like royalty. Then I woke up, back at 16. Those two snakes were going to pay, big time. Harper, I heard they opened the cutest cupcake shop over on Bleecker Street. Let's ditch practice and go, okay? I haven't seen you outside of dance in forever. Harper, are you even listening? Someone waved their hand in front of my face. I blinked, feeling totally out of it. That voice next to me. I turned. It was young, fresh-faced Ashley. She was even wearing our middle school uniform. Ignoring what she said, I blurted out, "What's the date? Quick, tell me." Ashley jumped, confused. "It's Friday, March 22nd, 2019. It's 4:18 p.m. One more class, then the bell rings. Harper, are you okay?" I barely registered the date. I'd gone back in time, back to the day I saved my brother. That's the day after school when my best friend Ashley invited me to that new cupcake place on Bleecker Street. The truck lost control. I saw my brother, Chase, standing right in its path. I didn't even think. I just ran and shoved him out of the way. Then I got slammed 3 yards. When I woke up, my legs had been crushed to pulp, bones shattered. Amputation was the only way. The trucker, hiding behind his insurance, claimed his brakes failed. He hadn't fled the scene, had even called the ambulance himself, and seemed genuinely sorry. Chase even forgave him. He got off with a fine and probation. Losing my legs destroyed me. I couldn't wrap my head around my brother forgiving the guy who did this, or my mother finding a replacement after I was crippled. Later, I found out that all her love depended on me being a perfect dance prodigy. My mother, Layla Bloom, was a famous ballerina. From day one, she was determined to mold me into her successor. The moment I couldn't dance, she adopted another talented girl and named her Jade Bloom. Jade, the jewel she discovered. I was jealous. I cried, raged, sank into depression. All it got me was being alienated by everyone. Eventually, I got my act together and changed direction. I studied hard, got into the best university in the city, and became a rising star in business. Dad started paying attention. After all, compared to a mediocre son, a crippled, infertile daughter was the perfect person to take over the company. But Dad's expectations made Chase jealous. He teamed up with a fake daughter to stage a fire, burning my hands and face. That took away my value to Dad. Finally, they just wanted me gone. They had the fake daughter fake kidney failure. With Mom and Dad's permission, they ran me over, harvested all my organs. After they killed me, my soul floated around for a year. That's when I learned that my brother was just a fake. My real brother had been swapped at birth and sent to the Johnsons. Who knew if he was even alive? And the fake daughter was Chase's real sister. The two of them killed me and my biological brother to steal my family's fortune. Maybe it was the hate and rage I felt when I died, but I went back to being 16. 1 hour before I saved my brother. I looked at Ashley and smirked. Sure, I'll go with you. I was going to watch Chase get turned into roadkill. Ashley, expecting a fight, squealed. I knew you were the best, Harper. Ashley was a good friend. In the past, she was consumed by guilt after suggesting the bakery that led to my accident. She was always there for me, and she encouraged me to pursue business. She was just a pawn in Chase's game. Ashley was obsessed with sweets, after all. I spent the whole class spacing out, lost in my head. Was my past life a dream, or was it real? The bell snapped me back. I followed Ashley toward the bakery. Normally, you wouldn't see a truck in downtown Manhattan, especially not on a busy street like Bleecker. If a truck shows up this time, then it was real. I'd truly been reborn. This time I got there first and waved at Chase, who was standing by the curb. He gave me that look that said, I knew you'd come. I forced down the hate and smiled. Hey, Chase. What are you doing here? I wanted to get some cupcakes for everyone. This place is supposed to be amazing, he said. I finally noticed how pathetic his lies were. Mom and I were dancers. We didn't eat junk food. Dad spent all his time at the office. And Chase never touched sweets. They made him break out. The whole thing was staged. Before I could say anything, there was a scream. A truck barreled toward us. That was the moment last time when I shoved him. Then I got hit, then the truck ran over my legs. I lost everything. This time I jumped back. I dodged the truck with ease. Years of dance had made me strong and agile, with lightning reflexes. The truck missed me by a hair. Chase, looking shocked, got thrown 3 yards. The truck crushed his legs. He passed out instantly. He was luckier than me. It only took out his lower legs and knees. Last time, it got my whole thighs. The driver cut the engine and started calling 911, looking like he expected this. He even got out to check on us, pretending to be nervous, like he wasn't about to flee. But when he saw that he hadn't hit me, but Chase, his face went from calm to terrified. His hands shook. I looked at Chase's mangled legs and wanted to laugh. When Chase woke up, Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa were all around him. Dad was busy. He stopped by during the surgery and left as soon as he heard Chase would live. The drugs hadn't worn off. Chase was confused with everyone crowding around him. Mom was watching some stage show on her tablet. She glanced up and said, "You're awake." Mom, what? What happened? Chase asked. Mom didn't answer. Grandma burst into tears. Oh, sweetie, you'll be okay. Chase didn't know they'd chopped off half his legs, knees gone. Too bad the trucker didn't do a better job. He should have taken off everything, including his little Chase Jr. I was peeling an apple. Mom looked at me, not at her injured son. Harper, didn't I tell you not to eat fruit? So much sugar. It'll ruin your figure. I kept peeling. I'm giving it to Grandpa and Grandma and Chase. I want them to be okay. Mom frowned. The nurses can do that. Don't peel it. And don't get any scars. I nodded. Chase finally noticed me. The drugs wore off, and memories came flooding back. Me dodging the truck, not saving him, played over and over in his head. You're okay? But that's not. He trailed off. I cut the apple and gave half to Grandma, the rest to Grandpa. Oh, why wouldn't I be? Chase's lips moved, but he didn't say anything. He couldn't ask why I, the loving sister who valued family above all else, didn't push him out of the way, didn't take the hit myself. He also couldn't ask why my not being hurt meant his sister, that trailer trash, couldn't replace me. Chase, you don't have legs anymore, but it's okay. It won't affect your future. It's just amputation. At least you didn't die. I twisted the knife and laid out his new reality. Grandma, who had been hoping to break the news gently, glared. Harper, how can you say that? Don't upset your brother. Chase went white. His face was a mask of pain, regret, shock, disbelief. I ignored Grandma and lifted my skirt to show Mom. I scraped my leg, Mom. Mom put down her tablet and grabbed me. Why didn't you say anything? You can't get scars. We're going to the dermatologist. I smiled at Chase. Rest up, Chase. I'm leaving now. The smile dropped as soon as we left the room. Was Mom worried about me? No. I was her perfect masterpiece. Only if I won awards in the dance world would she consider me her daughter. She wasn't worried about me getting hurt. She was worried about me getting ruined. From the time I could walk, she had forced me to learn every kind of dance. She was one of the most famous ballerinas. I had been dancing since I was little. My joints were perfect, my posture graceful, my movements sublime. But she didn't have any love for anyone, not me, not Chase. When I got amputated, she immediately adopted Chase's sister, Lily Johnson, renaming her Jade Bloom. I was no longer worth caring about. She treated Lily like her daughter. When Lily got kidney disease and needed a transplant, she was the first one to support the plan to have me killed. All Mother cared about was dance. She had only married my father, David Bloom, for business. She and David had twins in a lab. She didn't want to go through another pregnancy, so she did IVF and got a boy and a girl. Boys would inherit family property. Girls would inherit her dance careers. David was thrilled. He had twins and a wife who was beautiful, famous, and didn't care that he fooled around with other women. It was perfect. One spouse kept the home fires burning. The other one got to party. She can focus on dancing. He can cheat. That's a perfect match. I was going to see how Chase could try to get Lily in the house when he had no legs. If he hadn't been bait, I never would have been hit by that truck. I was a rising dance star. I wanted to live. Coming back from the dermatologist, I told Mom I wasn't feeling well and wanted to go home. She wanted me to train, but she was afraid I had hurt my bones in the accident. She dragged me to get X-rays. When it turned out I was fine, she wanted to drag me to the studio. I said I was upset about Chase. She frowned and told me to go home. Then she went to her dance studio. She really had no love to give. Back home, I checked my bank account $1.5 million. I'd saved it up over the years. Mom didn't let me have money because she thought I'd spend it on junk and ruin my figure. Compared to Chase's millions, it was nothing. I hired a private investigator for $1 million. I needed to know a lot. The trucker's history, Lily's history, everything about Lily and Chase's relationship. Finally, I needed every bit of surveillance video of Chase from the past month. That was going to cost. Watching surveillance videos was illegal. I had to pay extra. The agency agreed and said I'd have everything in a week. If things got tricky, they'd need more money or more time. Whatever. Getting this done was worth it. I didn't feel anything for my real brother. Honestly, I hoped he was dead. I planned to inherit everything, billions. I didn't want to share. Besides, I didn't know this brother at all. I finished the arrangements and went to visit Chase in the hospital the next day. I pulled out one of his hairs and went to Mom and Dad's room to get some of theirs. Then I went to get a DNA test. But Mom wasn't happy I missed practice yesterday, so she kept calling me home. I was physically 16 again, but mentally I was 25. I hadn't danced in almost a decade. I had muscle memory, but it wasn't the same. I could claim I wasn't doing well because of Chase for a while, but I couldn't keep it up forever. If she realized I wasn't improving, she'd pull me out of school. Should I quit dancing and let Lily take my place? Or keep dancing to prevent that? Screw it. Dancing wasn't the answer. Fame was just a few compliments. Money was real power. In my past life, After I showed talent for business and Dad gave me a piece of the company, I learned that power was amazing. It was 100 times better than being a ballerina. Now, I needed to ruin Chase's hands, make the world a better place, then destroy his junk. Then Dad would disown him, and I could take over the company. Even if he was a fake, I didn't want to take any risk. I knew that Dad had gotten a vasectomy. He swore he would never have illegitimate children so Mom wouldn't be worried. Even if he got it reversed, he'd need 18 years to raise another kid. By then, the company would be mine. As for Lily, I'd figure out how to ruin her too. Dear Chase, I'm bringing your little sister into play. With that, I hung up on Mom, dropped off the hair with the private investigator, and went shopping. It felt good to have healthy legs again. I started visiting Chase in the hospital to torment him. I mocked him for being a cripple, telling him he'd never walk again. Then I'd tell him not to be discouraged. He was lucky to still have his meat. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a man, or he'd be dead. At home, I had headaches and anxiety attacks. I started eating sweets, drinking milk tea, and eating junk food. Mom was furious. Junk food was so good. She threatened to give up on me and find someone else to be her daughter. She couldn't control me. The staff didn't listen to her either. They listened to me. She just thought about food, sleep, and dance. It felt amazing to see my family angry. A week passed quickly. I finally got the DNA test results. Dad and Mom were my parents, but Chase. He was my dad's son, but was not related to Mom. I burned my copy of the Chase and Dad's DNA test and kept Chase and Mom's. It wasn't going to be easy turning him into a fake son. First, move him out of the house. Then kill Dad. If Dad died, Chase will have to take a DNA test with Mom. That's when it will come out that he's not related to our family. As for Grandma and Grandpa, that's not legal. Who knows if he's Grandpa's son and can inherit Dad's property? Killing Dad, that was also a good idea. After all, my own father wasn't a good person. Soon Lily came to my house. Ever since I started standing up to Mom, she's been giving me the cold shoulder. She thought she could cut me off, but joke's on her. I sweet-talked Dad into giving me his private black card. Then I wired myself $50 million. I told him I was traumatized from the accident and needed the cash. He bought it hook, line, and sinker. Lily walked in, all in white, like she was auditioning for a tampon commercial, hair down to her waist. Ugh, what a delicate snowflake. Meanwhile, I was sitting at the kitchen counter, enjoying a slice of tiramisu. This wasn't just any tiramisu, it was the low sugar, imported from France kind. So decadent. Hi, I'm Lily, but Mom said I should go by Jade now, and that I'm living here from now on. Lily mumbled, head down, voice barely audible. Chase, my brother, was back from the hospital and glaring at me for ignoring her. And the truck driver who hit him? Just like before, Chase had forgiven him. He walked with a suspended sentence, no jail time. Harper, did you hear your new sister? Is it really so hard to be nice? Mom snapped. Lily quickly chimed in. Oh, it's okay. She probably just didn't hear me. I'm not trying to take her place or anything. She stole a glance at me and Mom, eyes welling up with tears, but trying to stay strong. I wiped my mouth and looked at her. I was sitting, she was standing, but I still towered over her. I looked like the bully. I smirked and looked over at my mother. So, this is my replacement? Not very original, Mom. You gonna make her cry on stage for sympathy points? Lily's eyes flashed with anger, but she couldn't hide the tears. My comment had hit a nerve. Mom glared at Lily, then at me, then back at Lily. She was furious. How many times have I told you? That's not how you carry yourself. You'll never make it to the top, you hear me? Don't embarrass me like this, or I'll send you back where I found you. And another thing, you were a nobody. I'm giving you a new name. You're Jade Bloom now, and don't you forget it. If I hear you call yourself Lily again, you're out. Lily's tears stopped mid-fall. She was completely lost. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She was supposed to be the victim, the one everyone felt sorry for. Lily nervously clutched at her dress, twisting the fabric. Chase, ever the white knight, jumped to her defense. Mom, Harper is being rude. Why are you yelling at Jade? Mom didn't even look at him. Her son was practically invisible to her. She scoffed. You're a cripple, Chase. Shut your mouth. This is none of your business. She turned to Lily, snatched a ruler, and slapped her hands. Lily cried out. Stop acting like a baby. I'm doing this for you. Harper never got this kind of treatment. Chase looked crushed. He was sure this was all my fault. I was loving it. I knew Lily wouldn't get any special treatment from Mom. One snarky comment, and she went from the second-floor guest room to the first floor. Last time, Lily had won Mom over easily because I was a mess. A dancer who lost her leg and a broken heart. Mom had replaced me, and I had cracked. But this time, I was a classy girl, quick with a snarky joke. Lily would only get more harsh treatment. The private investigator was supposed to send me Lily's file in a week, but it took a month. But today, I finally got the dirt on Lily and all the surveillance footage of Chase. They even did DNA tests, comparing Chase's and Lily's hair to the truck driver's. Every meeting Chase and Lily had was taped, dated, summarized, and delivered. They even found the grave of that baby, my biological brother, who died, and sent me some ashes. I nearly jumped out of my skin. These guys were pros. Worth every penny. I'd asked if they could take care of Chase for me. They'd answered, how so? Isn't he a cripple? I'd said, do you do that kind of work or not? They'd replied, times are tough. We know some people. Nothing illegal, of course. I'd said, what about making him a eunuch? They'd answered with the price, 100,000. I'd told him to throw in a little AIDS while they were at it. They'd agreed, promising it would be done in a month or less, or my money back. What a wonderful world. First, I looked at the DNA results. They said that the truck driver, his name was Joe, and his wife was Chrissy. They were Lily's biological parents. But Chase wasn't related to Joe. He was only related to Chrissy. Also, Joe and Chrissy had a son 16 years ago, but he died of a fever when he was less than a month old. The next year, in November, they had a premature daughter, Lily. Chrissy had trouble conceiving, so she couldn't have more children. This January, Chrissy had met with Chase for the first time. She'd pulled out a report, and they talked for over an hour. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw that DNA report. From that day on, Chase and Chrissy were in touch. 3 days later, he met with Joe, and they hugged. At the beginning of February, Chase and Lily started meeting up. In March, Joe became a truck driver for a construction site. And on March 22nd, the brakes failed, leaving Chase disabled. In April, Lily won first prize at a local dance competition and Mom adopted her. I also found an interesting audio file of Lily and Chase planning to push me out of the family and make her the heiress. It was all just a pipe dream, though. There was no plot to murder me or switch identities. Too bad the audio was so low quality. I couldn't use it as evidence. I faked a DNA report showing that Joe was Chase's father and prepared to show it to Dad at the right moment. Lily's life was a living hell. She'd walked into my house thinking she could be the damsel in distress and get everyone's attention. But only Chase paid her any mind. Even the maids and groundskeepers thought she was fake. I turned on a talk show with actress Pam, who talked about her skincare routine, which included taking cold showers 365 days a year. Mom got a thoughtful look on her face. That night, She filled the bathtub with cold water and ice and made Lily take a bath. She figured it was better than a shower, and she'd make her do it every day. As for her period, who cared? That was Lily's problem. Mom only cared about making her a superstar. I heard Lily screaming, but Mom told the Myad to stuff a towel in her mouth. Stop being so dramatic. Harper never got this kind of treatment. Chase tried to step in, but I said, Bro, they're taking a bath. You trying to pull a Jamie Lynn Spears on me? The staff looked at him. He balled his fists.
Isnickered.
This was just the beginning. I knew that Mom had gone crazy after I quit dancing. She'd do anything to make Lily better than me. When Mom came out, I pulled out my phone and put on a video about how saunas could help with skincare and loosen joints. Less than an hour after the ice bath, Lily was locked in our sauna. She started crying. Mom hated the crying and added to the time. During the past 16 years, I had rarely shed a tear. When would she start a fire? In my past life, Lily started the fire when I was 24. That was way too late. I wish they'd set fire to the place right now and kill. My dear father. They were able to hit me with a car because my dad approved of it. When Lily came out of the sauna, she glared at me with pure hatred. It was like all of this was my fault, not my mother's. I grabbed a piece of mango and stared at her. Yeah, you better hate me. Chase looked at Lily with concern. Lily looked at Chase with misery. So interesting. Lily couldn't get back at me, so she started bossing around the staff, taking her anger out on them. In the days that followed, I kept taunting Lily. It got Mom to train her harder. Dad was the same as ever. He came home twice a month, had dinner, and left. All he did was wire money. With Mom's help, Lily stopped going to school and doubled her training, learning from private tutors so she could take the GED. I went to school during the day and practiced boxing, MMA, long distance running, and judo at night. I had the body of a dancer, so I just needed to put on muscle. I was stronger than any guy my age. Mom saw my muscles and went wild, like hurting Lily would make me dance again. She couldn't control me, so she took it out on Lily. Chase got his wish to become a eunuch. Someone had hired a girl who fit his type and had her talk to him on the beach at sunset. Then a crab pinched him in the crotch. At first, he didn't think it was a big deal. But when he got home, it started to swell. He didn't want to go to a real doctor, so he went to a small clinic. That was when someone had added AIDS. His dream girl broke up with him when she found out he wasn't a man. He wanted the clinic to sue them, but it was shut down. Chase panicked, and I was happy. Now it was time to deal with Lily. Lily's situation wasn't good. The staff looked down on her, neglected her, and talked behind her back. Even if she gave an order, no one listened to her unless Mom was around. Mom was torturing her, and I was making fun of her. Her damsel act didn't work on anyone. Chase used to help her, but he was too busy dealing with his medical condition. Ever since Chase found out he had AIDS and wasn't a man anymore, he looked at everyone with hatred. If someone glanced at him, he thought they were laughing at him, even though he was trying to keep the truth a secret. But he was still 16, a minor. If Dad wanted, he could get proof and find his medical history. When he had surgery, Chrissy signed the forms with the DNA results. But Chrissy wasn't very smart and didn't know that they'd cut off his penis. She thought he was getting an old wound fixed. I tapped my fingers on the table. How would Lily get revenge? Last time, they'd insulted me and abused me. I was a good girl, so I wouldn't do anything like that truck accident. Oh, I knew what to do. I'd remind Mom that Lily was getting fat and tell her to get a corset. Mom's dance studio was in the basement. I walked over to watch. Mom saw me and went crazy, realizing that Lily would never be as good as I had been. That waist is so thick. I've gained weight for 2 months, and she's as big as me. I said. Mom's eyes flashed. She looked at me and Lily, comparing us. She said, Jade, from now on you're wearing a corset. And you're on a diet. Lily trembled, glaring at me. Dancing took a lot of energy. Eating less and wearing a corset? That was torture. I smirked, watching Mom train her, always finding something wrong. Lily got to the point where she couldn't even talk. Oops, that move isn't right. I was doing it perfectly when I was 6. Ugh, so inflexible. And your waist, ugh, so boring. I thought she was good. Mom, you're not a good judge of talent. I finished my comment and left. My plan was working. Lily's life would get worse. A normal person can't compare to a prodigy. Lily had talent, but she was up against me and Mom. I started thinking about how to tell Dad that Chase had been castrated. A man like him would be mad and start insulting him. Then Chase might get violent. I started singing and glanced at Chase. I smiled. What was I disgusted at? His legs or his penis? I was getting kidnapped, or I was about to get kidnapped. Today, the driver had a family emergency and told me he'd be late. The teacher told me about a new bookstore by the school, so I decided to wait there. But then someone pushed me into an alley. 5 men with knives and ropes stared back at me, along with a camera and other stuff. Hey, little beauty, just be a good girl, and we'll treat you right, one of them said. There aren't any cameras here. No one can save you. I smiled. Okay. In the next 10 minutes, I showed them what prodigy was like. I'd only been doing MMA and judo for a month, but I still took them all down. I clapped my hands, and 6 bodyguards came out, tying them up and gagging them. I walked to the leader and stepped on his head. You're so dumb. 5 of you couldn't beat me. I wiped my hands. Even if you had, it wouldn't matter. I always have 6 bodyguards. All I had to do was yell. The kidnappers made noises of protest. Okay, let's talk about who hired you, I said, telling the bodyguards to take off one of their gags. I snapped my fingers, and one of the bodyguards brought me a small box. Vince, ain't saying nothin'. Let me go, you bitch, or the gang will hunt you down, he yelled. I kicked his head, then opened the box I had with me, revealing a row of shiny needles. I picked one up and poked one of the kidnappers with it. He screamed. What are you doing to my brother? You trying to die? Vince said. I didn't answer, jabbing another needle into him. He yelled, I poked. After he yelled for the 17th time, I took off another man's gag. He screamed. Vince, shut up, he said. I had the bodyguards gag Vince and untie the others. Okay, here's your chance to get revenge. Say something I like, and I'll poke Vince and take out a needle, I told them. One of them gulped. He'd never liked Vince anyway. I'll tell you who hired us. It was a woman your age. She gave us $20,000 to kidnap you and mess up your face and legs. Todd, you snitch. I pulled a needle out of him and jabbed it into Vince. Seeing this, another one said, she was with a guy in a wheelchair. Leo, what are you doing? They told me everything, even selling out their gang. Vince had 20 needles in him. When they were done, I snapped my fingers. 5 bodyguards gagged them. The last bodyguard handed me a tape recorder. Miss, I recorded everything. I played with the recorder. Okay, let's take them to the police. This will be a great look for us and the police. Needles were perfect. They caused pain, but they didn't leave scars. I was a good girl. I didn't abuse people. Lily and Chase looked annoyed when they saw me. Harper, you're back. Are you okay? Lily said. Sis, are you okay? What happened? Chase asked. He secretly contacted the kidnappers, but they didn't answer. I said, oh, I almost got kidnapped. I hired 6 bodyguards because I was scared. The kidnappers are at the police station. I'm scared. I emphasized the word scared. They both turned white. Would the kidnappers rat them out? I said, I'm scared that I'll end up like you, Chase. So helpless. I thought, the police were probably at our door right now. I had given my statement, the evidence, and the witnesses. I didn't plan to get any more involved. They wouldn't be in any real trouble. Their mother, Chrissy, would probably take the fall. Lily and Chase were both under 18. They wouldn't get jail time unless it was a serious felony. I just wanted to scare them a little. Mom came back from the training center and asked where Lily was. I don't know. Probably in jail, I said. Harper, you're not dancing anymore, but you can't even sit up straight. Your posture is awful.
You have to dance, she said.
And what did you say about your sister? Where did she go? What did you do? I shrugged. They both went to jail. You and Dad might have to go to the police station later. You'll see. Mom pointed at me. You tricked your brother and her into going to the police station? I thought you were just rebellious, but you're evil. Was she deaf? Dad came home. He glanced at me and Mom and went upstairs. According to our routine, he'd come down when it was time to eat. I followed Dad to his office upstairs. It wasn't me, Dad. Chase did it. I did some investigating, I said. I gave him a folder with detail evidence. When he opened it, his face got serious. Inside were the reports showing that Dad wasn't related to Chase, Joe was related to Chase, and Lily and Chase were siblings. Dad, Joe was the truck driver who hit Chase. My biological brother is dead. Here are his ashes, I said, handing him a small jar. How could Mr. Smarty Pants not know what was happening? He'd probably guessed all of it. That's it, he said. I kept going. I found out I was having period issues and went to the doctor. I heard a rumor about a 16-year-old with no legs having his penis cut off because of an infection. And today I almost got kidnapped by Chase and Lily. He rubbed his head and said, Okay. After I left the study, $50 million was wired into my account. Then I ate dinner, did MMA training, and went asleep. Chase and Lily came back, just like I thought. Their mother, Chrissy, took the fall. Chase came home and found things had changed. Mom looked at him with a colder expression. The staff started treating him the way they treated Lily, or worse. They left his clothes as it is for days. The new caretaker treated him violently and touched him. He tried to tell Dad. No one knew what they talked about in the study. He came out with hatred in his eyes. From then on, Chase kept hearing people call him a eunuch, cripple, and bastard. Chase wasn't 18 yet. His bank account was gone. Dad told me to give him some money, so he wouldn't starve. Mom hated Chase now that she knew he wasn't her biological son, and he was no longer a perfect man. She wanted to get rid of Lily, too. She felt cheated and betrayed. Lily was extremely thin. Her bones stuck out. Her waist was thin, like it might break. I knew why. She couldn't handle the diet, so I posted an ad for rib removals. Lily couldn't stand dieting, so she did it. On the day they were supposed to move out of our house, she begged, crawling at my mother's feet. Mom, I was wrong. I'll dance better. Please don't kick me out. Mom, I have nowhere to go. I'm a minor, Mom. I won't do anything bad again. Please don't kick me out. Mom kicked her. She hated that she'd adopted her. The staff started throwing her stuff out the door. I stood there watching. I had to do something. She had to stay, so I could torture her. I walked over to Lily. Kneel. Slap yourself and apologize, and I'll let you stay here. Lily immediately slapped herself. As a maid. Lily was humiliated. She kept slapping herself. When I thought her face would break, I spoke. Stay here. I told the groundskeeper to clean out the storage room. From that day on, Lily was our maid. When she first got here, she walked like she owned the place. Now, she was miserable. She cleaned toilets, did the dishes, and worked outside, doing everything by herself. Time passed. I took the GED and got into the best school in the city. Dad was so happy that he said he'd give me shares of the company on my 16th birthday. He was using me again. After realizing that Chase was a screw-up, he was giving me a treat. But I wanted more. Summer came. Mom got pregnant. On the first Sunday in July, Lily tried to push me down the stairs. This was so dumb. It didn't hurt me. Instead, she fell and got a concussion. But when Lily woke up in the hospital, she was different. She saw me and acted like she'd seen a ghost. Then she saw Chase and screamed, "It can't be. Why didn't you save him?" She looked at me like I was evil. Chase looked like a snake, watching me with hatred. Had Lily been reborn too? Then she'd probably start a fire early. I went home, and with all the cameras in the house, I added dozens more. They were on a separate power supply, so they'd work even if the main power went out. The videos would upload to the cloud. I had to keep her from trapping me, so I made a secret door on the second floor with a rope. If something happened, I'd open the door, use the rope to get to the back, and dig a secret tunnel in the back garden. I took my life seriously. After Lily came home, she changed a lot.
She was always with Chase.
I suspected they were dating. At the end of July, I woke up because of smoke. I looked at the time. 4:21 a.m., when people sleep the most. I opened the door, but it was locked. The power was off. I was on the second floor. They thought I couldn't get down. Last time, they took my wheelchair, so I had to crawl. I opened the secret door, let down the rope, and climbed down. I made an anonymous call to 911. There were other people in the house. I didn't want them to get hurt. The fire department came, and the first person that came out was Chase in his wheelchair. Then the maids rushed out. I counted. Everyone but Lily and my parents got out. The fire department, police, and reporters showed up. It wasn't me who called the reporters. The fire grew bigger. Chase cried to the reporters, saying that he wanted to save his sister and parents. My grandparents came, and the police officers told them it was a tragedy. I watched Chase acting. The next morning, the fire department found Dad, Mom, and Lily. One dead, 2 injured. But they couldn't find me. Chase was excited that his father was dead. He'd probably inherit his money. What about Mom's kid? Probably a miscarriage or a birth defect. His only concern was Lily. He hoped she'd become a vegetable or die. He cried, begging everyone to find his sister Harper. Meanwhile, I contacted the police and told them I was safe. I told them that I'd woken up and found my door and window locked. The power was out. In my desperation, I broke the window down and jumped out. That's how I got out. But because I was paranoid, I'd added those hidden cameras. I gave the police all the evidence. The videos showed Chase and Lily arguing in front of the housekeeper. Chase accused Lily of stealing my jewelry and said he'd check the cameras. The housekeeper had told one of the servants to take Chase and Lily to check the camera. That was when Lily had knocked the servant out. She and Chase deleted the video and messed up the cameras. Then Joe came in pretending to fix the electrical system and welded my window shut. At the time, I was at my MMA class and Mom was getting a prenatal checkup. After they were done, Chase said he had bad legs and had Lily put medicine in Dad's and Mom's cups. Late at night, Chase went out and pulled the power. Lily locked my room and my parents' room and tried to leave. Chase suddenly said he had gold bars in the basement and told Lily to get them. Before she came up, he'd start the fire. Lily was still downstairs and Joe locked her in. They planned to blame the fire on Lily. Next, Joe escaped and Chase pretended to go to the bathroom. Everyone got out. The police had found the messed up electric wires, the lighter, and the medicine in my parents' cups. They only found Lily's fingerprints on everything. If it hadn't been for my camera, Chase would have gotten away with everything. Later, I found out that Mom's love for me was built on my perfect dancing. The day after the fire, I cremated my father and did everything by the book. My grandfather thought I was lucky. Lily woke up and found out that she was burned and betrayed by her dad and Chase. She ratted them out. Chase was under 18, but he got sentenced. Joe got caught and sent to jail. Chrissy had finally realized the truth. She was screaming that Chase was Dad's son, not Joe's, and that he should inherit the money. I pulled out my new birth certificate. When Mom decided to do IVF, she had Chase adopted. Faking the adoption document was easy. We didn't need Chase's consent. Dad was dead, and Mom didn't object. Joe lost it. He thought Chase was his son. Chrissy had cheated on him and made him do 2 crimes for a bastard. Chase went crazy. Chrissy, his mom, never told Chase who his real father was. If he had known, he wouldn't have done it. Lily couldn't work because she was burned. She was bullied in jail. Lily went insane, so the state sent her to the mental hospital. Mom lost her kid and became depressed. Everyone who hurt me was punished. I got millions. Afterward, I heard that Chase wasn't doing well in prison. He was smooth and soft. People did things to him even when he said he had AIDS. The jailers said he really had AIDS. My grandfather started running the company again. I went to college and studied drones technology. In the meanwhile, I invested in startup companies that I know will get successful in future. In just 1 year, I made a name for myself in the business world. My grandfather was impressed with me. When I was in 3rd year of my college, he started giving me power in the company. By the time I graduated, I was the youngest CEO in the city. Power was the best plastic surgery for women. I didn't get married. I had a kid abroad and got my tubes tied. Then I started my happy life. Thank you for watching our video, guys, and for more amazing stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel.